everybody, and welcome back to Art a la Carte. I have been painting rocks for years now, so I was really excited to hear more and more people are getting into rock painting and then hiding them for other people to find, kind of a random act of kindness. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you a couple of rocks that I painted. One is a panda bear where I paint the whole rock, and the other is a butterfly. Now, if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and also make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and hit the notification bell. That way, anytime I upload a new video, YouTube will let you know. Well, the first thing you're going to need when painting rocks is obviously a rock. And some of my favorite places to find rocks are at like old riverbeds or even on the beach. Do the old drop test, pick your rock up, drop it on another rock. If it cracks, pick a different rock. Once you have your rocks, go ahead and give them a nice cleaning. You want to scrub all the dirt, grime, moss, whatever's on that rock so you have a nice clean surface to work with. After your rocks are shiny and clean, now it's time to decide what do you want to paint on them. Now there are two different types of rock paintings. One is just to paint something on the surface of the rock, whether it's a picture, a pattern, a design, or a saying. And with that kind of painting, it's easy to match the rock up to what you want to paint on top of it. The more challenging one is if you want to make the whole rock a painting. So I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to do that. I'm going to paint the full rock and turn it into a panda. The reason this can be a little bit tricky is you just can't use any rock to create a creature. The rock has to match what you're painting. So most of the time, instead of saying, oh, today I want to paint a cat or a squirrel, and then going to try to find the rock that matches that, I'll find the rock and stare at it for a few minutes until I decide what this rock looks like to me. So the first step I do is actually sketch out the design on my rock. It makes it so much easier to paint. For that, you can use a piece of chalk, or like I did, I used a colored pencil. Now it can be kind of hard to see the design on the rock, so I went ahead and recreated the design here so you can see a better visual of how I marked out my patterns. I'm not going for a ton of detail, just marking out where the basic shapes of the panda are going to be. Also, this isn't going to be a tutorial on step-by-step how I painted and drew this panda, but I will give you a couple of tips. After the sketch, I'm going to go ahead and block in the base colors of my painting. So for the panda, it's black and white. So I paint all that in on one side and then let it completely dry before I flip it over and paint the other side. This will help to keep your smudge factor down. Once the base colors are painted on my rock and they're completely dry, now I can go back in and either add a second coat if I need to darken things in a little bit, or begin to add in the details. For this part, remember to take your time, don't rush it. And if you're having a hard time painting this design on a rock, you might want to practice a few times on just a piece of paper. Painting or drawing on a flat piece of paper is way easier than trying to paint on a three-dimensional object. A couple of tips for painting with dark areas, like his paws and some areas on his chest are black and they're overlapping, so it can be really hard to tell the difference where one ends and the other begins. I can highlight the first, so using a really thin paintbrush and some watered down white paint, I can kind of flick the brush around to make it look like little strands of hair and like the sun is hitting it, and kind of help people to see the arms and the legs and things like that. Once your rock is completely painted, you're going to want to put some sort of sealant on it to protect your rock, especially if you're going to be putting this outside. So for the second rock, I'm going to paint a butterfly, but instead of creating the butterfly on the entire rock, I want my butterfly to look like it's landing on my rock. So again, I'm going to pre-sketch my design in. The tough thing about drawing butterflies is to make sure that they're symmetrical, that one wing is the same size and the same design as the other wing. So a tip for this is to break it down into larger shapes. Don't go in for all the detail right now. Seeing the butterfly in triangle shapes can help you to make sure that they match up in size. Once the sketch is in, then you can begin adding the detail. Now, butterflies come in so many amazing patterns and colors. Don't be afraid to look at reference photos, or just be creative and design your own. Once your butterfly is painted, now comes the secret trick to make it look dimensional. For this, I'm going to take some black paint and water it down to paint a cast shadow. And voila, we have our butterfly on a rock. Now that my rocks are all painted and dry, the only thing left is to go place them in secret locations at my local park. If you enjoy painting rocks, I would love to see what rocks you have created. So if you take a picture and post it on social media, make sure to tag me in your photos on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll leave the information to my social media in the description box below. Hopefully this encourages you to go and paint more rocks. If you'd like to see more tutorials on rock painting, let me know. So until next time, God bless you guys, keep painting those rocks, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!